Despite pressure by the European Union Parliament for all extractive activities to be halted over a pipeline, Uganda is determined to see it completed. The EU claims that the pipeline is a potential threat to the environment and threatens a fragile ecosystem. All the while, European countries are scouring African countries for fossil fuel resources. Uganda, it seems, is determined to see it through and is looking eastwards for new friends who will help it realize the project. And China stands ready to assist.
We hope that these projects will continue without disruptions and be completed in time so that it would achieve the desired results for national economic and social development for Uganda.
The East Africa crude oil pipeline is a political hot potato and has seen protests inside Uganda by environmentalists and rights groups who claim that it is a threat to the environment and will see people displaced. The EU concurs with that argument and also claims that it could lead to land grabs by the Ugandan government. Uganda insists that the EU is wrong.
The resolution is based on misinformation and deliberate misrepresentation of key facts on environment and human rights protection. It represents the highest level on neocolonialism and imperialism against the sovereignty of Uganda and Tanzania.
EU leaders are currently scouring for fossil fuels, and they use more of them than any African country. And despite this, there's hardly a word of condemnation from Brussels. But the EU says it is intent on stopping the financing of fossil fuel projects, even for poorer countries like Uganda, even though such a project could help the country fund its transition from fossil fuel energy dependency.
We think the bank should now go further and also exclude all coal and oil-related investments, and further outline a policy on gradually phasing out gas power generation to only invest in gas in exceptional circumstances.
Only a few weeks ago, the German Chancellor was on the continent in Senegal securing gas, and France's Emmanuel Macron was also doing the same in Algeria. Adding salt to a gaping wound is that developing nations are watching in real time the Western nations' hypocrisy, telling developing nations to turn their backs on fossil fuel while they go scouring for them. But despite this, Uganda is determined to chart its own course and soldier on with the completion of this pipeline project, despite the finger wagging from Brussels. And as for most African countries, as they continue to look at the hypocrisy of the West that is coming to the continent looking for fossil fuels while telling them to turn their backs on them.
I think, of course, Uganda and all the parties, the states, partner states in this project, as sovereign states, have the right to do what they want to do.
The government is right on the extracting the oil because it develops the country, just like Nigeria.
If the government compensates the people fairly, not leaving them homeless, then oil can help us grow as a country.